moment a man raised his rifle and aimed at the wild deer, a twisted figure suddenly emerged from the shadows. The eerie silhouette sent chills down the spine of even the most experienced hunter. It was the legendary bloodthirsty monster from local folklore. The father and son quickly took refuge in the watchtower, and soon heavy footsteps echoed from outside. The man's hands trembled as he gripped his gun, but the next second, the creatures simply vanished. However, deep claw marks were left gouged into the wooden boards, as if serving as some kind of warning. To protect his son, the father claimed it was just a black bear they had encountered. Time flew by, and the little boy Jack had grown into a man. But then an email arrived that forced him to return to the mountain cabin with his wife and daughter. On the way, they encountered an old neighbor he hadn't seen in years. Kind-hearted Jack offered to give him a ride, but disaster struck when their car was blocked by a fallen tree and left dangling precariously in mid-air. And Jack caught sight of that nightmarish figure in his rearview mirror. 30 years had passed, and the monster was still here. Suddenly, an arm smashed through the car window, and Jack's arm was brutally clawed. The neighbor on the ground was dragged into the darkness by the creature. In that moment, Jack finally understood his father's terror from all those years ago. He fled with his wife and daughter to the old house, where the family huddled together in fear. Jack pressed his body against the door to keep it shut. Only when the outside fell completely silent did he dare venture down to the basement to start the generator. The moment the lights came on, it seemed to give the family new hope. Jack barricaded the entrance with a wardrobe. However, the enemy often comes from within. That wound wasn't just a surface injury, it was only the beginning. As night fell, Jack felt abnormal changes in his body. His hair began falling out in clumps, and his vision became blurred. He desperately tried to control his emotions, but the scent of blood grew stronger and stronger in the air. Suddenly, Jack stood up and began frantically gnawing at his own injured arm. His wife turned pale with horror at the sight before her. She realized her husband was transforming into that very monster. Fortunately, what remained of Jack's sanity made him stop, and seeing his wife's terrified expression, he turned and left the room. His wife knew in her heart that their home was no longer safe. Thankfully, the car parked outside gave her an idea. She found the car keys, gripped a fruit knife tightly, and led her family toward the vehicle parked at the entrance. As the car engine roared to life, relief was finally within reach.